Hi, my friends. Today I want to present you a new story. Enjoy watching it.
When I first met Rufus Hooper, he seemed like the kind of man who could steady the world just by smiling. He was poised, intelligent, with that quiet confidence that made people lean closer when he spoke. I met him at a charity gala my late grandmother used to sponsor, a night of champagne, candlelight, and polite laughter. When he asked me to dance, I remember thinking, this is how love begins, in music and mystery. He told me I looked like sunlight wrapped in silk. I laughed, a little embarrassed. He smelled of cedarwood and rain. From that moment, he painted my world in brighter colors, sending flowers to my doorstep, cooking dinner in my grandmother's old kitchen, leaving sticky notes on the mirror. You make every morning worth waking up to. For a while, I believed it. I needed to. Losing my grandmother had left a hollow ache in my chest, and Rufus filled it effortlessly. He said things like, "You don't need anyone else, Cecilia. People will only use you for your money." I thought it was protection. I didn't see the cage being built around me. Then came the small corrections. Maybe don't wear that dress, it's a bit too much. Or, you talk too loudly when you're nervous. Try to stay calm next time. Each remark felt harmless on its own, but together they scraped away my edges. One evening, as I prepared dinner, I burned the sauce. Rufus slammed the pan onto the counter, sauce splattering across the wall. "You can't do anything right, can you?" he hissed. I froze, clutching a towel like a shield. A second later, he softened, voice dripping with remorse. "I didn't mean it, baby. I just had a rough day." And like a fool craving peace, I believed him again. But that night, as he slept beside me with his arm draped loosely around my waist, I stared into the darkness and felt a cold truth settle in. I no longer recognized the woman I had become. The laughter that once lived in me had fallen silent. Still, I stayed, because leaving meant facing the emptiness he'd convinced me I couldn't survive without. If only I'd known then what his love was hiding. If only I'd known those gentle hands would one day bruise instead of hold. The sky he painted for me was beautiful, but every stroke was meant to blind me. And that was only the beginning. It was a quiet Sunday evening, the kind where the house felt too still, as if holding its breath. Rufus had just left for a late business meeting, his cologne lingering in the hallway. I was wiping the counter when a message came to my phone. One new message, a voice message from Rufus. At first, I didn't mean to listen, but the subject line caught my eye. "Clara, she's nearly ready." My pulse quickened. Apparently, the message was intended for Clara, Rufus's sister, and he accidentally sent it to me. I pressed play. Rufus's voice filled the room, casual, confident, cruel. "She's pathetic now, Clara, a ghost. I told you I'd break her down. Give it another month and I'll get rid of her. When it's over, I'll be a widower, with everything she inherited. Grandmother's money, house, all of it." The memo ended after 34 seconds. 34 seconds that shattered 2 years of my life. I stood there, shaking so violently the phone slipped from my hands. My knees gave out and I sank to the floor, the tiles cold against my palms. My heart screamed, he was going to kill me. I replayed it once, twice, again, hoping I'd misheard. But no, his words sliced deeper each time, deliberate and venomous. My tears fell freely now, staining the hem of my nightgown. Every apology, every kiss, every promise, lies. When Rufus came home hours later, I was still sitting in the dark. "Why are the lights off?" he asked. "Just tired," I whispered, forcing my voice to stay steady. He kissed my forehead, unaware that I already knew. I smiled faintly, memorizing his face, because I planned to never see it again. That night, while he slept soundly beside me, I packed a small suitcase, slipped the engagement ring onto his nightstand, and walked out into the rain. 34 seconds, that's all it took to end one life, and begin another. I checked into a small boutique hotel under a false name, Alina Mayfield, my grandmother's maiden name. The room smelled of lavender and old wood, and for the first time in months, no one was watching me breathe. Still, I couldn't sleep. Rufus's words replayed in my mind, poisoning every thought. "She's pathetic now, I'll get rid of her." By dawn, my grief had hardened into something colder. Not hate, clarity. If he wanted a ghost, I'd give him one. But this ghost would fight back. I opened my laptop and began gathering everything. The voice memo, photos of bruises I'd hidden under sleeves, bank transfers he made without my consent, and screenshots of his threatening messages. Every detail became a weapon. My trembling fingers steadied with each click. Then came the first email, to his company's HR department. Dear Sir/Madam, I am writing to report severe misconduct and threats made by your employee, Mr. Rufus Hooper. I attached the evidence, hit send, and exhaled a breath that felt like freedom. Then I wrote another, to his boss, his clients, even his charity board. One by one, I lit silent fires in the world he thought he controlled. Next, I opened my social media. My hands hovered before typing. I survived someone who planned to destroy me. If you know him, you deserve to know too. The post went viral overnight. Messages poured in, some from strangers, others from women who said, he did this to me too. By morning, Rufus's empire began to crack. His company suspended him. His friends went quiet. His phone calls flooded my inbox, each one angrier than the last. You think you can ruin me? One voicemail hissed. You'll regret this, Cecilia. But I only smiled. The woman he once broke was gone. He had built his throne on fear. I was learning how to set it on fire. And the flames were only beginning. 3 days after the storm I unleashed, an unfamiliar number appeared on my screen. The message read, Cecilia, it's Clara Hooper. Please hear me out. I need to talk. For a long moment I stared at the name, the sister from the voice memo. My pulse raced. Curiosity and caution wrestled inside me before I agreed to meet her in a quiet cafe on Holloway Road. Clara looked nothing like the polished woman I'd seen in photos. Her eyes were swollen, her hands trembling as she stirred her untouched tea. He told me it was all your fault, she whispered. But after your post, I listened to what he sent me. I can't stay silent anymore. She slid a small flash drive across the table. You should hear this. Later that night, in my hotel room, I plugged it in. Rufus's voice echoed again, only this time he was laughing. Cecilia's not my first. Maggie never saw it coming. Weak people make easy targets. My hands went cold. Maggie, his ex-girlfriend, had vanished from his life with no explanation, and now I knew why. Tears blurred my vision as I sent the files to the detective Sanders handling my case. Within hours, the police reopened investigations linked to Rufus. I sat by the window, watching rain streak down the glass, whispering, you can't hurt anyone else now. Then another knock at my door. This time it was Linda Hooper, Rufus's mother. Her voice broke as she said, I'm so sorry, my dear. I raised a monster, but I swear he won't destroy another soul. When she left, I found a note tucked beneath my teacup. You gave us courage. That night, for the first time in months, I slept without fear. But deep down, I knew the final reckoning hadn't come yet. 2 weeks passed and Detective Sanders gathered a lot of evidence of Rufus's crime. He was arrested and a court hearing was scheduled for the following Wednesday. Wednesday has arrived, Judgment Day. The courtroom smelled of paper, fire, and old justice. Rufus sat across from me, pale, hollow, stripped of charm. His hands trembled when the clerk read the charges: fraud, coercion, assault. He didn't look at me once. Maggie testified first, her sleeves rolled to reveal faint scars. He said no one would believe me, she whispered. But she did. Clara followed, voice quivering but steady. I helped hide his lies, I'll never forgive myself. When it was my turn, I stood tall, my palms cold but steady. He wanted to break me, I said softly. But pain can forge steel. I refused to be his martyr. The judge's verdict fell like thunder. 8 years in prison. A gasp rippled through the room. For the first time, Rufus raised his eyes, but the power in them was gone. I didn't hate him anymore, I pitied him. Outside, rain fell softly, washing the courthouse steps. Clara and I stood beneath one umbrella, silent, trembling, alive. Later, I visited my grandmother's grave. He tried to destroy me, Grandma, I whispered, tears catching in my throat. But you taught me, light always finds a way through cracks. And for the first time, the sky broke open, and I felt free.
Friends, what do you think of this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Would you like more stories? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss any videos. See you tomorrow.